How Sade redefined music, style, and elegance forever. There are very few artists who can be identified by a single name. Prince, Madonna, Beyonce, and Sade. But what makes Sade extraordinary isn't just her beautiful voice, her timeless songs. It's the way she created an entire world, her music and her world built on elegance, mystery, sophistication, and authenticity. For more than 4 decades, Sade remained one of the most respected artists in music history. She has sold more than 50 million records, won Grammy Awards, inspired countless musicians, and influenced fashion trends across generations, all while avoiding the spotlight that so many celebrities chase. So, how did a fashion student from England become one of the coolest, most influential women in music? Let's explore a remarkable story on how Sade became a timeless global icon. Sade was born January 16, 1959, in Nigeria. Her father was Nigerian and her mother was English. When Sade was just 4 years old, her parents separated and her mother moved Sade and her older brother to England. Growing up in England during the 1960s and 1970s wasn't easy. As a mixed race child, Sade sometimes struggled to feel like she fully belonged. Those experiences shaped the quiet, confident, and emotional depth that would later define her music. Interestingly, music wasn't even her first dream. She attended the prestigious St. Martin's School of Art in London, where she studied fashion design. Before becoming famous, she designed menswear and occasionally worked as a model to earn extra income. Looking back, it's easy to see how fashion education influenced everything she would later become, not only as a singer, but as an icon of effortless elegance. Sade's musical journey began almost by accident. She started singing with a London funk band called Pride after her friends invited her to perform. Audiences immediately noticed something different. Her voice wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy. She wasn't trying to imitate the powerhouse vocalist dominating radio. Instead, she sung with remarkable calmness. Every note felt intimate, every lyric sounded honest. Eventually, several members of Pride left together to form a new group. That group became Sade. Many people still believe Sade is simply the name of the singer, but it's actually the name of the entire band. Together with Stuart Matthewman, Andrew Hale, and Paul Spencer, they developed one of the most recognizable sounds in modern music. When Diamond Life was released in 1984, it immediately stood apart amongst everything else that charted. Songs like Smooth Operator, Your Love is King, and Hang On to Your Love introduced audience to a sophisticated blend of jazz, soul, pop, and R&B. While many artists relied on loud production and dramatic vocals, Sade relied on atmosphere. Her voice floated over gentle bass lines, elegant piano chords, subtle percussions, and unforgettable saxophone melodies. It was the music that invited listeners to slow down. One of Sade's greatest strengths is restraint. She knows that silence can be just as powerful as sound. Rather than filling every second with vocal runs or complicated arrangements, she allows each instrument room to breathe. That simplicity requires incredible musicianship. Another reason her music feels timeless is because it focuses on a universal emotion: love, trust, heartbreak, hope, and healing. Songs like No Ordinary Love, Cherish the Day, and Kiss of Life and By Your Side remain relevant because people experience those emotions in every generation. Sade also writes much of her own material. Her lyrics are poetic without being complicated. She doesn't try to impress listeners with complex language, instead, she chooses honesty. That's why her songs often feel deeply personal. Whether you're 20 or 28, her music still connects. Music critics often describe Sade's voice as smooth, but smooth doesn't fully explain it. What makes her voice extraordinary is her control. She's rare, focuses on her notes, and she doesn't oversing. She never sounds like she's competing with the music, instead, she becomes part of it. She also uses a technique called phrasing. Instead of singing directly on the beat, she often sings slightly behind it. That subtle delay creates an incredible, relaxed feeling. It's one of the reasons her music sounds effortless. Jazz musicians have long used this technique, but Sade brought it to soul, pop, audiences all around the world. Her voice almost feels conventional, like she's sharing a private thought with her listeners. That's a rare gift. Just as influential as her music was, so was her fashion. Unlike many pop stars who constantly reinvent themselves, Sade built a signature look that remained iconic for decades. She proved that style doesn't require access. One of her trademarks became the slick back hair. Simple, elegant, powerful, she often paired it with large gold hoop earrings, red lipsticks, and minimal makeup. Sharp blazers, tailored trousers, silk blouses, simple black dresses. She embraced clean lines rather than flashy trends. Fashion critics have often described her style as effortless sophistication. What's remarkable is how modern those outfits look today. Many celebrities continue borrowing elements from her wardrobe. You'll see echoes of her style in artists like Beyonce, Solange, Alicia Keys, Rihanna, and countless fashion editors all around the world. She also loved oversized men jackets, wide leg trousers, crisp white shirts, leather jackets, and monochromatic outfits. Instead of following fashion, she creates her own aesthetic. And because it wasn't tied to temporary trends, it will never be outdated. Her confidence completed her every outfit. Sade never looked like she was trying too hard. She wore the clothes never wore her. That quiet confidence became one of her greatest fashion statements. It's almost impossible to measure Sade's influence. Artists like Beyonce, Drake, Frank Ocean, Maxwell, Jill Scott, Miguel, Alicia Keys, The Weeknd, her, and countless others have cited her as inspiration. Hip hop producers have sampled her music for decades. Jazz musicians admired her. Fashion designers continue to reference her. Even younger listeners discovering her music through streaming platforms are amazed how current she still sounds. That's because Sade was never chasing trends. She focused on creating quality. Great art doesn't expire. Her catalog proves exactly that. Sade's legacy is about much more than hit records. She changed the way people think, she changed the vulnerability and how much power people have as artists. She demonstrated elegance in her style. The music teaches us that emotions don't need to be loud. Her fashion remains confidence and her greatest asset. And her career proves that authenticity will always last. More than 40 years later, Diamond Life Sade remains one of the most admired artists in modern history. Not because she demanded attention, but because she made attention inevitable. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications for many more stories. What about legendary musicians and culture icons?